Hey Tarot Tube. I thought it might be fun to take a look at this Jane Austen tarot deck, which my understanding, I didn't know it existed, but my understanding is that this is a reprint. I hope I've got that right. And probably it has to do with the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth and all of her books. So we're going to take a look at this deck, and we'll also talk about a couple of other things that are going on related to her anniversary. So I'm pretty excited to have this. Been a Jane Austen fan for several decades, since I was a teenager. And I'm very excited to have this deck. Now, I've already opened it and I looked at it, but I saved this little, here's your tarot ASMR. I saved this because instead of the usual plastic, the cards were in this. It says it's 100% compostable. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it'd be kind of cool if it is. So yeah, maybe. All right, let's take a look at it. So first of all, let's enjoy the backs. Love the garden. Love the profile of her. It's just delightful. That is delightful. It's a low Scarabeo deck. Oops. Quick, get the naked lady off the screen. And I really am enjoying the card stock of this. I guess I'll talk about it a little later. We'll shuffle it. So honestly, I like well, I guess we're talking about it now. I like these really flexible cards. They're easier to shuffle. I mean, yes, you could bend them if you were rough with them, and maybe it's not going to hold up that well over the years, but I don't know. I'm concerned about today. So let's just take a look at what we've got here. This is an interesting guidebook for Lo Scarabeo. So let's see how many languages. Yeah, 4 languages. And look how much of it is English. Well, that's appropriate. I mean, it is Jane Austen. But look how many more English pages we have than Italian or Spanish or Portuguese. I think that's interesting. So definitely catering to the English-speaking audience here. Yep, there it is, 1775. So I think it's December. Her birthday was in December. Right, so that's what makes it the 250th anniversary. And they're talking about here how balance is really important in the tarot, especially the major arcana, and how balance is also really important in Jane Austen's books. So let's take a look. Now I'm going to slide this in. Don't worry, we're coming back to the deck. Look at this fabulous, let's come out a little bit. Look at this fabulous collection that I found in Costco. Costco, people. So it was in December, with all the Christmas stuff. But look at this beautiful, like, fake suede thing with little quotes from the different books. Look at this. How gorgeous is this? It's a real pleasure to read these books. I just finished rereading Mansfield Park. That was my first choice. It's the only book where she does mention slavery, and it's very brief, but she does mention it. It's good to know that a romance novelist was aware of slavery and prepared to acknowledge that it was out there. So I kind of skipped over my subjects. What I was getting at was about balance, right? So look at the titles of these 2 books. If you're not a Jane Austen fan, maybe you don't know all these books. Sense and Sensibility. Pride and Prejudice. So when she develops her characters and she puts different characters together in a story, she's balancing different personal characteristics and behaviors. Maybe one person is very reserved and controlled, and one is kind of rash and runs off and just does things ill-considered and gets into trouble, and how all of that stuff gets resolved. And then there's also the balance over the course of someone's development, which is they could start out maybe taking a personal characteristic too far in one direction, and as they mature, because these are mostly young people that she's writing about, mostly, as they mature, that characteristic also matures with them and becomes more well-tempered. as I have aged, I have become less fond of how she portrays older people in her books. Especially some of these mothers are just, they're too silly. They are too silly. But, you know, when I was younger, I found that very entertaining because, you know, we change as we get older. So let's just take a look at some of the art. You can see if you like this deck or not. I'm a big fan of Jane Austen. So this is Elizabeth Bennet. So we have in here, we have characters from all different novels. And if you're familiar with the novels, you may watch these. Sorry, I'm trying to get this centered up. You may look at these and say, oh, that's definitely Henry Crawford. You know, that's from Mansfield Park for sure. I think that they have done a pretty good job finding people to represent the different energies of the cards. This is Jane Austen herself. High Priestess makes perfect sense. It's a Jane Austen deck, right? So there's so much about a woman's life in her books, which is, I suppose, what attracted me to her when I was younger. But of course, there are men too. That's pretty sure that's Sir Thomas from Mansfield Park. That's got to be Mr. Collins. I'm not 100% on this one. That looks like some Lydia energy there, but I don't know really. I think, well, let's take a look. I think pretty sure that's Henry Crawford again. Yeah, it is. It's Henry Crawford with Fanny Price from Mansfield. So the strength here is she's the one with the strength. He's not. Probably Mr. Bennet, not sure. So if you like the Regency period, this is going to be fun for you. If you're a Bridgerton fan, I would think that you would find this very entertaining. Wow, lots of Mansfield Park in the majors here. Oh, that's interesting how they put an archangel. Hard to say which one it is exactly in this. Let's see. So temperance, I would say, is one of the big themes of Jane Austen's work, and so I would expect them to have put a lot of effort into this particular card. So this temperance, it's from Emma, Jane Fairfax reaching out to Emma. Looking at each other with understanding and esteem. They stand, oh yeah, good, okay. It says they stand beneath a fine drawing of an angel who looks as if she is beaming down upon them. All right, so we're not naming the angel. It's not. I thought maybe we were bringing some angel energy in there, but they're not being that specific. Yeah, but this is nice. They're saying upright. It's a synthesis of energies, blending to achieve balance and harmony. The middle way, blessed changes for the better, healing, reversed, immoderation, imbalance, passivity, and uneasiness. Yeah, those are real Jane Austen topics and themes. The devil. Oh, she does look like trouble, doesn't she? And here's the Tower. This is an example of immoderate behavior. This is someone who was just being too enthusiastic, and she jumps off the stairs. Catch me, and yeah, things don't end well. Oh my goodness, look at the moon. Okay, I don't know who this is supposed to be. I gotta find out. I've got to find out now. The moon. Oh, it's Emma again. Clearly I need to reread Emma. In her nightgown, gazing into a water basin that she's using to wash her face. Disturbing vision she sees is that of George Knightley with Harriet Smith. She sees this image by the light of the full moon, which is streaming through a large window in her bedroom. All right, so this is not something that actually literally happens in the story. I don't think. I don't recall that. But look how unhappy she is. Yikes. And here's the sun. Everything turns up roses here. There we go. All right, now what they've done is, let's just divide these by the suits. So here's cups. See, we've got lots of blue tones in the cups. And here are the coins. More greens in the coins. I don't know if I can fit all of these in. Let's try. Okay, we're going to get a lot of other stuff in there, but that's all right. The candles, lots of reds in there. And then the quills, more gray tones. So swords, wands, cups, coins, or pentacles, right? So there's some color coding, and these are each different books. So they put it here. This one is Sense and Sensibility for coins, Persuasion for cups, Pride and Prejudice for candles, and Emma for quills. So since I was just talking about Emma, let's take this a little bit out of order, and let's look at the quills. Let's look at the Emma story, which you won't get a lot of commentary from me on this because I'm not remembering it very well. So, oh, that's interesting. Look, she's got crossed. I don't know why I did that. You can't see that. She crossed the quills in her hands. Here's the 3. Look at the tears. A sad letter has come. Oh, nice. We see the roses on the thorns. That's good. There's the 4 of quills, needing to rest. The 5 of quills. So sharp words are probably being spoken at this little picnic. The 6 of quills. There's the 7. The 8. Look at all the quills. Oh, do we see that quills in here? Let's look. No, I don't see the quills in there, but here's the 9. And the 10. Oh, look how sad she is. I love how they've used color. Right, so the face cards are not the royal court. It's what's appropriate for this time period in these stories. We have a maiden, a knight, a lady, and a lord. All right, nice suit of quills. Now let's take a look at, there we go, the coins. Sense and Sensibility. Of course, we must have a ball. We must have a ball. And here's ladies demonstrating their skills in the 3 of coins. And the 4 of coins. There's not a lot of happiness in that. The 5 of coins. The 6. It's interesting how there is a good bit of agriculture in these stories because so much of it is set in the country, so they managed to find a way to bring sewing into this. The 8 of coins. Wow, this looks like a comic book, right? You get this whole little story here. The 9 of coins, frequently a female character, but here we have a male character. So thank you for messing around with gender roles. I appreciate that, folks. The 10 of coins. Oh, look at that expression on her face. That's fun. And the knight, look, he's moving a little bit slow there. The lady, always one of my favorite cards. And the Lord. That's lovely. All right, let's bring a little bit of fire in here with our candle suit. Oops, one more. Okay. There's the 2. I feel like I should have some period music playing in the background, but I don't know how to do that. Use your imagination. This is interesting, the way they've got him holding the globe. Misunderstandings. Moving a little too fast there, buddy. Setting boundaries. This is fun. I think if you know the story and you see these pictures, that it's quite entertaining. And at first I wasn't sure exactly what to make of this art style, but as I'm looking at it more and more, I see that it is really appropriate for illustrating a story. So, yeah, I think it works. I think it works. All right, and finally, the last suit we're going to look at, Ace of the Cups, which is Persuasion. That's nice. Looks like he's saying, oy vey. That's funny. Well, it's funny to me. You know, I really like the way they've spanned multiple stages in life, generations, multiple points in people's lives with babies and young people and older people. And you really see the course of a life and the social situations. As a pianist, I think that's another reason that I like Jane Austen. I do have the keyboard is in there all the time. Yay. All right, that's it. Okay, so I said I was going to talk a little bit more about Jane Austen and her anniversary. So they're remaking more movies, which is exciting. Early commentary that I've seen has said that the movies have a lot of promise. They've got good casts. And, oh, sorry, that was probably really loud. Good casts, good crews. It seems like the production companies that are involved have done some good things in the past. So I'm somewhat optimistic that these things that should come out in 2026 are going to be worth viewing. In the meantime, there's an awful lot that you can watch. Older shows, and people have very strong opinions about them. Personally, my favorite is the Pride and Prejudice BBC series. So it's multiple episodes. Did I say Pride and Prejudice? I think I said that. I can't remember now. But yeah, that's my favorite, which I have on DVD. Got the box set. All right. So you saw how easy it was for me to shuffle that with my older hands. That was pretty cool. Also, there's a couple of board games coming out. One of them is by Dux Somnium. I think I'm saying that right. And let's see, I think I have this queued up on my iPad here to show you. Yep, there it is. It's called Endearment. Whoops, that's a bad angle. It's called Endearment. Fall in Love with Jane Austen. England. So it's going to be really fun to have board games and decks and new films, TV series to watch. I'm really looking forward to it. Look how beautiful this is. Now, honestly, I did kind of expect the artwork to be a little bit more like that. You're not going to be able to see this really well because I'm blowing it up so much. I had thought the artwork in this deck was going to be a little bit more fine artish, or maybe like these kind of illustrations, the kind of things that would have appeared in fashion plates or ladies' magazine, you know, something like that. So it's not that, the deck is not this kind of art, but you can see the kind of art that's going to be in this game, which I'm so looking forward to having. I should have it in 2026. I did back it on Kickstarter. Let's do a little reading. Well, if you are a regular watcher, then you know I've been doing a lot of political readings lately. It's been kind of a relief to do something somewhat lighthearted here, and showing you that I also believe in balance. Okay, we're going to do a reading. What would Jane Austen think about the movies. So we're gonna, what would Jane Austen think about the movies that are coming out? What would she think about this deck? What would she think about the game? Okay, so it's movies, this deck, and the game that I ordered. What would she think? What would she think? So this is just something kind of fun. It's a little bit of a fun thing, which gosh knows I need it. Let's see. This one. I pick. Okay, so it was movies, decks, and game. What would she think about the movies? Might not like the movies so much. Yeah, but she might not like those movies that are coming out. She wouldn't know what to make of movies. That would be such a shocker for her. How about this deck? 6 of Candles. And what would you think of the game? The Emperor. Okay. Power game. I don't know how to interpret the 6 of Candles, in part because I'm not sure which part of the story this is talking about. So I'm just going to look this up. What does our creator say? Upright, idealistic triumph, positive outlook for the future. Oh, okay. This is when Darcy and Bingley ride out to, yeah. Okay, this makes sense now. Okay, I get it. I got there. Okay, she would like the deck. She would not like the movies. And the game, I think she would feel the game was pretty good. Yeah, definitely not like a ladies' game. But I think she'd like it. This is Sir Thomas. So I think she would find it a powerful game. All right, that's it. I'm glad I ended with something light. So that's my take on this new Jane Austen tarot deck by Scarabeo. The creators are Diane Wilkes and Lola, oh boy, Aragi. I think that would be it. So yeah, I like it. I'm going to give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.